Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Shamrock Show, episode 4. Really happy to have one of my best friends here with me, my boy Diarm.
Yes, sir.
If you're from New London, you definitely know who I'm sitting with. Cheers.
Cheers. Shout out to
good.
Proper 12.
Proper 12, yeah. It's good to have a proper mic on the Shamrock Show. So Diarm's been in this nightlife business for a long time, the business that I'm in, and it's always great to pick somebody's brain. He's got a big project coming out on the horizon, and I figured we'd go down that path, man. The bar, the new spot, is going to be in Groton called 40 Thieves.
Yeah, 40 Thieves.
It's going to be a true destination location. But before we get into that, I think we're going to rewind a little bit and kind of like to get into how you got into this business to begin with. You know, Hanafin's, you had 2 locations. It was, a landmark spot in New London for the longest time, man. How did that even come about?
We started in 2005. Yeah, probably 2005. We built it, the original location. Then 5 years later, we had the opportunity to buy the space next door.
Right.
So we opened that. We rebuilt the same bar, only next door.
Right,
so
right. It looked like the same place, except just
identical. We tried to match it, So, that was great times for New London. I think business was booming. I think for everybody, there wasn't a lot of competition. It's only a couple spots. Hot rods had just started.
Yeah.
Roadhouse was there. Stashes was jumping.
Yeah.
Other than that, there wasn't too much going on.
How'd you find what were you doing before the bar business? How did you find your way into that position even to begin with?
We were doing wood. Actually, before that, I lived in Spain. So I lived in Spain for a little while. Then I came back. When I came back to the U.S., we were doing wood floors, sanding and refinishing wood floors. Yeah. Basically, just manual labor stuff,
right?
To make a couple bucks. That's when we found that spot. We were doing the floors.
We say you and your dad and your brother too, or
nah, just me and my dad. And then, we found the spot. We were redoing the floors in that building, the D-Ward building in downtown New London.
Yeah.
And we worked out a deal with the building owner at the time. He was a French guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of put us in a good spot to hit the ground running, and it worked out good. We were doing big numbers our first couple of years.
Yeah.
And I think over the years, New London kind of I think the economy never kind of bounced back after the kind of 2008, 2009 kind of recession thing that kind of hit the rest of the U.S. But 2010 we opened in Glastonbury. That was technically our 3rd location because we changed spots.
Right. Yeah.
So we were up there for 3 or 4 years, but we didn't own the building up there. We were in a really bad lease.
Yeah.
So it was a learning curve. But it
was
great.
Everything about this business is definitely a learning curve.
Man,
luckily, you've been successful enough. Sometimes, you learn a bunch of stuff, but it's too late by the time you've learned it.
Yeah, but it shapes you for your future.
Right.
Right,
so my first bar was the Green Room.
I remember.
And I had never even worked in a bar at that point. Me and my boy were driving by, and there was a for sale sign in the window. And he's like, I'm going to buy that place. Dude, total dive spot. And I was like, yeah, fine, let's do it. And he's like, so we actually called the number. Fuck it. We're just.
What you got to lose?
We had both just been fired from a job together.
Yeah, exactly.
I had worked in the casino for a while, and I'd kind of worked in. There used to be a club called the Cinedrome 360, and it was a really crazy time because it was the first time there was a club in Connecticut in this area.
Where was that? That was at Mohegan Sun?
No, Foxwoods.
Oh, Foxwoods.
It was at Foxwoods. It was in the middle, and it was a big
Central kind of.
No, it was a real nightclub. It was a real nightclub,
really?
but it was in this dome, dude, and it had the whole inside of the dome, Epcot Center kind of looked like that.
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of wild. And then they eventually opened that BB King Club, which then turned into Club BB. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was I was 20.
Right.
20 probably.
Right. So I was only 18 when I first started working at Foxwoods, but I was working in these clubs, and I was always like, wow, this is kind of a cool thing, but I didn't really know
the work
behind
the scenes. It's a lot, man.
Right. So I used to always throw hotel parties, and there was one time, at one point where I was banned from a whole bunch of hotels in there. Just 'cause we'd always throw parties. So me and my boy, we saw this spot, and we called the guy, and he didn't want anything for it. He's like, my dad died. He left this place to me. I don't want anything to do with it. Just pay me the rent. It was $1,100 a month, $1,000. It was something insignificant bar wise, with no, so we both took out right. So we both took out loans from the bank for $5,000 a piece, just to do minor cosmetic stuff. We put $10,000 into it.
Get your first order, right?
Yeah, and we started doing it, and the reason I'm talking about this is because the learning curve. So I learned how to get people into the building. We did big numbers for what it was. It was a really, this place was a super dive spot. It was on Central Ave in Norwich. So we went. So when we first took it off his hands, We just let it run for a month to come check it out. And there was like drug deals over the bars. I'm not even exaggerating. Like hookers taking guys into the bathroom. I mean, they were doing like $40 a day. I mean, this thing was just like, selling
this was before
like $1 drafts and stuff. So so I used actually MySpace, right? So I made a MySpace page for the bar for like 3 months before we opened, and I went and I just friended like everyone in the area, everybody I could, because that's how that social media. If people are watching this, you might have never had MySpace, but that's how it just worked. Like you could search people within a 30-mile radius, you know what I mean? And just, so you just friend them. Yeah. So that's what I just did, is you added them as friends, and then by the time we opened, there was a whole bunch of people who were like excited to see the place, and it went well. But I didn't know the business aspect of it. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, the bar did $2,000 today, so I have $2,000. And then the fridge would break, and I didn't have $500 to fix the fridge. You know what I mean? I just learning
those running expenses.
Yeah. So we had it for like almost 2 years, but we had it for like 1 year successfully because it was just making so much money, and then it just business acting. We just didn't know what we were doing. You know what I mean? And
it's tough, man, if you don't know.
Right. So. Then I went and I worked at some places for a while, and I kind of learned the business aspect of it and whatever, and kind of use that moving forward. But like that's what I was saying. Like
that's what happened to us up there. Our the lease we signed was really bad. Then our overhead was so high. We kind of went from a bar to going to like a full restaurant with a 30-person staff.
Right. That Glastonbury spot was like
a
real big spot.
It was crazy. So you think in the wintertime up there, you have a bad weekend, you have a bad snowstorm, you lose that 30-40 grand a week.
Right.
You're back.
How do you make that
You're
up?
in the red. Yeah, you gotta like hustle to try to get that back. You have 2 or 3 of those in a row.
Yeah.
You're kind of like lights out. So.
Right. Yeah, and I never even really thought about that. How the snow affects businesses the way the rain affects me during the summer.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I get it 2 weekends in a row washed out, and even literally put me out $100,000. But like when I'm comparing the year prior, and you never catch that back up.
Yeah. And it's nothing that you did.
Right.
It's not
so
like
I guess it's the same thing with the
wrong.
snow.
It's just
I never really thought about
the weather. You can't control it.
So you were living in Spain?
Yeah, I lived in Spain. I worked for a yacht registry company in La Linea, right below the Costa del Sol, right above Gibraltar. Like the furthest most point in Africa. Meet Spain right there.
Really?
Yeah, it was cool, man. I was 18, and you could drink, so I was going out over there.
That's all Europe. 18, right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, but it's not as strict as it is over here. You know, we were going out at McDonald's. You could buy beers at vending machines. You're going out with like, I was getting paid in sterling at the time because we were working in Gibraltar, and we changed that back to euro. You're getting like double the money. So your money went a long way over there. So it was cool, man. It was a great learning experience.
How did you even end up in Spain? Because you're originally from Dublin, right?
Yeah, I was born in Dublin. Yeah, I was born in Dublin. I got my green card here to come to the U.S. when I was like 4 or 5
Allegedly.
years old.
Where's Trump at?
Yeah, No, so and then kind of back and forth my whole life. You're here, you're there, moving around a lot. My father joined the U.S. Navy, so we could get green cards to come to the U.S. So, when he would go to sea, we would move back to Ireland or, up until like probably like middle school, high school times like that.
That's actually how my family came to be. So my grandfather on my mother's side was first generation Irish in America. But then he joined the Navy in America, and he was in Ireland. I don't know if he was stationed or just a stop, but then he met my grandmother there, and they got married. And like my uncle, I have a few uncles who were born there. My mother, more information I need to know, but she was conceived in Ireland, but she was born in America. You know what I mean? That's
cool. Yeah.
So
it's always weird for me because like when I travel, I go like if I go to Ireland, for instance, when I come into customs in Ireland, they say welcome home, boom,
right.
Stamp my passport. I come back into the U.S., they're like, wait a minute, like what are you doing here? Like what are you doing there? Like come with us.
Right. I'm actually I'm gonna get an Irish passport. I've been putting it off, but you can if
number one passport in the world, second generation, you could get one.
Yeah, because it's as if your grandmother is born there, right? Is what the deal is.
I know a guy that can get you.
Yeah, my grandmother harassed me about it forever. I looked into it, and it was like, I forget how much. Maybe ends up costing like $2,000. It's a lot of money to spend for just something, you know. Right, but I do want to have it.
If you want to move around Europe, it's great. Right. Anywhere in the world, people love Irish.
Well, I read online that it's actually the most coveted passport because there's no other than within itself. There's no war with Ireland. You know what I mean? They don't beef with any other countries or anything like that.
People love the Irish.
You're not right. You're not looked at shady if you go into.
When I lived in Spain, we would have to cross the border every day. So. The Gibraltarians, which were the people native to Gibraltar, used to hate the English because the English took the land, right, from the Spanish.
Right.
So we would cross the border, and or we'd go out at night in La Linea in Spain, and you know, I'd have my Irish passport out, like, hey, like, I'm Irish,
so they
I'm
know
not
they're
English.
not British. Yeah.
And they'd be like, yo soy irlandés. Oh, you know, buy you drinks, give you drink tickets. You know, it's cool.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, that's something that they have in common, I guess. You know what I mean? The history of
a lot of places, man.
Right? The history of the English taking over places, you know, by force and then not leaving, which is, I think, something that a lot of people, you know, so many people you meet. I don't even know. It might even seem offensive to you or like annoying, but like some people are like, oh, I'm Irish, you know. Yeah. But like they don't know the history of it, which I didn't know till the first time I went over. Like, you know, the conflict and what they call the troubles and the separation in Ireland, you know, and what the British did to that country for the longest time, stripped it of its identity and its language, and there was such a war going on. There's still conflict going on over there.
Even their money, you know, they fought so long to have their own money, and now it's to the euro, you know. Which is super annoying if you go over there. Like, I know you don't go to the north, but when I go over to the north of Ireland, and then like you go down to Dublin, like I'll have money I can't use here, but I can use there. I got money I can't use there, but I can use here. Yeah, but, for sure, definitely. Yeah,
something I did find out through those travels, to any travelers out there, you can exchange money at Mohegan Sun for free. No, don't go to your bank. Like, you can exchange all your funds.
Yeah, you know, you told me that I got robbed in Russia at the airport, man. I had a layover in Moscow. Yeah, and I had I don't know if it was like Serbian money or something. I was coming from Montenegro. Yeah, and I was trying to change the money because my flight landed in JFK at like midnight or 1 a.m. So I was like, I had to get rid of all this money. I'm not gonna be able to change it anywhere, you know? Yeah. It's not like you can walk into Bank of America and be like, hey, take my Serbian dinar and give me, you know, whatever. So I give it to the airport lady, which I'm thinking is at the airport is official, you know? Yeah. I give it to her. It was like $500 worth of whatever, Serbian, whatever. She gives me back like $100. And I'm just sitting there like waiting for her to give me the rest, you know? Right. And she's like, what? And I'm like, the rest? And she's like, that's it. And I'm like, that's it? I'm like, well, then give me back my Serbian money, you know? Like, no. She's like, no, not my problem. I'm like, what? And, you know, you're trying to get mad, but then you got to think, like, hey, man, like, I'm in Russia.
You end up locked up abroad, you know what I mean?
I'm looking around, it's like all these guys with machine guns. I'm like, man, I got to take it easy. Like, is this $400 really worth it?
Right. So the way I found that out is, so I had a rental car in Dublin, right? And I drove throughout the whole country. It was my first time driving. It's the opposite side of the road. But as you get into, so we went with Melissa to see her family in Kerry, which is way deep in the south, and it was like in a village, like generic, what we would picture like on a postcard in Ireland, you know? So the roads, I mean, there was times we were passing trucks and I was just closing my eyes and biting down
waiting
and
for
going. So I clipped the side of the car on some truck's mirror, right? Yeah, so I was like, shit. And I had turned down the insurance, of course. You know, I turned down the insurance from Enterprise, right?
I don't need that.
So when we had to bring the car back, man, we went off-roading in the car, basically, just to cover it in mud so we would cover the scratch. So I bring it back, and, you know, we call a cab to bring us to the airport, and I go to drop the car off. And the guy comes out, and I'm like trying to be like super nice, like, oh, what's up, man? Yo, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. And he's like wiping off the dirt from the car, and he sees the scratch. And but what I forgot to leave out was I knew that this was gonna happen, so I stopped at an ATM on my way there. I took cash. I took all my money out of the bank. That way they couldn't charge my car.
Smart move.
The car that they had,
Scammer 101.
Yeah. So I took everything out. So I had like $1,000 cash. Like, you know, it was in Dublin. It was euro on me. So, you know, more or less, you know, I got there and I was like, well, you know, I was like, I don't know what happened. I didn't see that, you know, bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you got to pay for it. I was like, peace, I'm out of here, you know, and I just left. Yeah. So, but because of that whole thing, we were running late to the flight, so I couldn't change my money in Dublin. And you got to Hartford, and they don't have it there. They don't have an exchange there. I didn't know.
Which is crazy. It's a major city. They should.
Right. I assume I didn't even. It's an international airport. I didn't even.
Especially euros. It's not like it's like
common
currency.
Dinar or something.
Yeah,
you know?
like my problems.
But long story long, I ended up hitting up Mohegan Sun, and they're like, yeah, we because we cashed it in. So from here on out, that's the move.
That's my go-to.
Yeah. But I even actually, I got a friend request on Facebook from like some like corporate officer at Enterprise.
The guy from Enterprise?
In Dublin. Yeah. I was like, no way.
Tracking you down.
Yeah. I got home, I changed the card and everything, man. But shout out to Enterprise in Dublin. Great people.
They deal with that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the insurance next time. What were you doing in Moscow? Or
I had a layover flight, so I went to I was in Montenegro there was an event called what the fuck was it? It was a basically like an event with like tech savvy people, leaders from all over the world that were meeting for one common goal to like benefit the rest of the world,
right?
To change the world. So it was like Robert De Niro was a keynote speaker, Akon was there, I was out there with Wyclef. It was like a bunch of other like crazy like presidents of all these countries, president of Antigua, like all these people that were raising capital for like victims of like tropical storms in the Caribbean, like stuff like that. So it was really cool, man. I met a bunch of cool people.
Yeah.
Hung out with Wyclef. We were recording his CD that he was dropping at the time. It was a mixtape back till November or something like whatever the last one. It was like a year and a half ago that he dropped. But yeah, it was super cool, man. It was like recording a mixtape right on the edge of an infinity pool at this hotel, which is like, it's got to be like one of the like top 10 hotels in the world.
Really?
It's like on an island. Like it was crazy. It was like, for me, I was just like, wow, like what am I doing here? This is nuts, you know?
How did you end up there?
My uncle was on this thing called the Gumball Rally, Gumball 3000. Basically what that is it's a foreign car like race. Think like Fast and Furious, right?
Okay.
But they race from like London to Tokyo, or like London to Mykonos, Greece. It's going on right now, I think it's there in Greece right now, Mykonos. But it's basically like Lamborghinis, it's celebrities.
Is it a legal event, or is it just like a group of people who get together?
Well, it's Europe. It's a gray area.
Was it like when I say legal, is it like a sanctioned event, or is it like high profile people who have money, like who just say we're gonna do this thing?
Definitely, kind of like a little bit of both. So like, there's a lot of people on it that you know. David Hasselhoff is on it right now. The Hoff, yeah. You can't hassle the Hoff. Like Eve.
The rapper?
Yeah, she's married to Maximilian, the guy that created it. So that's how she's involved. Then you got guys like Bun B's there, just like a bunch of like cool like rappers, producers, tech guys, millionaires, people who are like love cars, you know. So my uncle was on that 2 years ago. They were driving a BMW i8 wrapped in gold, right? Okay. So he was calling me on the phone from, I forget where they were. They were maybe in, I don't even know, somewhere crazy. Yeah. And he sent me a picture, and he was sitting at the bar, and he didn't know like who he was sitting with. He was like, oh, I'm with the drone team, right? Yeah. The guys controlling the drone. So I'm looking at the picture, and I'm like, wow, like that's Dallas Austin, who's like he produced like Madonna. He's a big time producer from Atlanta. Produced like Biggie, TLC. He was married to T-Boz, I think. And then CeeLo, you know CeeLo from Gnarls Barkley was there in the picture. So I'm telling him on the phone, I'm like, whoa, like that's not the drone team. So he's behind these guys like lunch, like thinking they're the drone team. I'm like, no, like that's not the drone team. So then I get on the phone with Dallas and start talking to Dallas, build a kind of good relationship there. Yeah. And they're saying, hey, we're doing this event in Montenegro. You DJ, you should come out here and check it out. You know. So yeah, long story long, I end up I fly from JFK to Switzerland to Serbia to Montenegro. Montenegro's in the Balkans, like right, kind of like in the middle of nowhere, but it's like a paradise almost, you know? So I land there, and I run into Wyclef, who I knew Wyclef through Troy Ave, who I used to work with, or still work with. And I'm like, we link up, like, I see Wyclef, I'm like, oh shit, like, hey, what's up, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking maybe he's not gonna know who I am, but he's like, hey, what's up, blah, blah, blah. Like, instantaneously, we were like best friends, you know?
Right. And you were by yourself, you went by yourself, right?
Yeah, I went by myself. Well, sometimes you gotta move around like that, you know?
Yeah.
You can't be afraid to like jump at opportunities, even if you got, whatever. So yeah, you know, we're out there. He's like, oh, come back to his suite. We were recording the CD. He's like, I want to hear what you think about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like a huge Wyclef fan, like my whole life, like you know, Gone Till November days, like Cannabis days. So yeah, you know. And then from there, you know, just kept in touch with all those guys. We're still like, Clef texts me all the time, like sends me voice notes. Like, it's pretty trippy.
Well, I know you played one for me when you came back, which was kind of dope.
Yeah, I was still
man,
tripping out.
like,
He'll text me like, hey, Merry Christmas, and like, Happy New Year. I'm like, damn, that's Wyclef.
Right. The Fugees, man. I mean, the score is one of the greatest
It's crazy because we're on stage,
time.
and he was like, he's performing these songs on my stage. And
you were DJing when you were there, right?
I'm like on stage with him, and he's like, you know, back when we made this song, you know, and he's playing like Guantanamera and like these crazy, like, you know, we're there, like, yeah, he's like FaceTiming Shakira, he's like, just like crazy thing. I'm like, damn, this is nuts, you know?
Yeah.
We're at one party there, and it was like this really like elegant, like everybody's drinking champagne, you know, suit and ties, like tuxedos.
Yeah.
And the house band is all playing like violins, right? Like super classical music. You know what I'm like.
Right. Like the Titanic when it's going down.
Exactly. So Clef is like drinking Patron, like we're drinking all the champagne, like they won't let your glass get empty. Every time you take a sip, they fill it back up, you know?
We're gonna get swab on that tip.
Yeah, man. So after a few minutes, Clef goes over and he like hijacks the house band, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, you just see him like huddling over there talking to them for a few minutes. Next thing, oh, Jesus Christ. Next thing you know, he pops out with the house band. The house band starts playing the joint Hips Don't Lie with Shakira.
Yeah.
They start playing it. He starts performing it like, you know, I have a video. It's crazy. I was just like, damn, this is nuts.
Well, I've never even heard of anyone who went to Montenegro before.
So when I first got there, I was like super like, I'm not talking to anybody. I don't know what I'm doing here. Right. You know, it's all like millionaires and presidents and stuff. After like 15 glasses of champagne, I'm moving around crazy. Like, I'm with Wyclef. Like, you can't tell me nothing. Akon was there. I'm talking to Akon. I was like, this is crazy. This is nuts, you know? Yeah. So it was pretty cool, man, just to have that and just to build those relationships. So next year, Gumball's coming to the U.S.
Oh, really?
Well, they're doing a run from Canada to Cuba, which is crazy. I don't know how it's going to work out through the U.S. because in the European countries, when they're going like in these, you know, McLarens, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, they're doing like 200 miles an hour through these back roads, but they pay off a lot of like the allegedly. Allegedly, they you know, slide some dinero to the So I don't know how it's gonna work in the U.S. Yeah,
so should work.
But it'll be interesting. But you know, I'll be out there with them hopefully in some aspect, DJing or doing some parties with them. You know.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So you come from Dublin, you end up in America. Mm-hmm. You got your own bars, but how did this music industry thing come about? Like, so, you know, like you just go into the story where like, oh yeah, I know Wyclef. Like, how did
no, man, it was a long time coming. So I always was like, had like an affinity for music, and I always wanted to be involved in music in some aspect, right? Yeah. So when I was young, I was like, I want to be a rapper, you know? Right. That's like the coolest thing.
Right, everybody
wanted to be a rapper. This is
like even before
like MySpace days.
Right. Even like, I remember in high school, you know, writing little raps and stuff. Yeah. And like, it was before the culture had like where rap would became like mainstream.
Exactly.
Where like it would be commonplace where my teacher could call me a wigger, and that would be like a thing. Like it was like, you know, it wasn't even like it wasn't even like a thing. You know, like my mom would get mad when I Columbia housed in all these CDs. You know, and now she has like rap ringback tones. You know what I mean? It's just like such a change in that culture. You know?
Yeah, for sure. So you know, just always, you know, wanted to be involved in music, doing that. I had like bought like a cheap computer online somehow, and you know, like $100 or something. Yeah. And I figured out how to build like a studio. So I downloaded Cool Edit Pro. Swab, you might know what that is. You know Cool Edit Pro? Yeah. So there was this guy, like there was a crack code like you could get, you know, because the program was like $1,000 or something. Yeah. So nobody had $1,000 to buy this program at the time, you know. So if you downloaded this thing, you would have the whole program for free, basically, and anybody could figure it out.
Was it like a LimeWire, Napster kind of equivalent?
It's kind of like it's like Pro Tools now. It was like basically like a like a multi-track editing system where you could record your vocals in. You could put like a downloaded beat that you got from LimeWire behind it, and you could basically build your own song. So that's what I was doing. But I was doing that. Then I was getting all these people to come over, and I was recording them too. You know, so it was kind of like a business that I built out of my parents' house. So I was charging people like for studio time.
In your mom's basement?
Kind of, you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was studio time, but it was like a bootleg studio.
Right,
but
right.
I made it sound pretty good, like good enough to where, I could pass for like, maybe it could play on a radio.
Yeah.
Or, I could definitely charge them money for it,
Yeah.
So a lot of people came through there recording them, but I was always recording myself too. And I had put together like maybe like 8 songs, and there was these guys called Tape Masters, and this was like right around the time like mixtapes were coming up.
Yeah.
And 50 Cent came out, mixtapes were popping. So I was like, I'm gonna put together the mixtape. These guys like my music. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get them to host it, and boom, I'm out of here. That was my plan.
Yeah.
But they were like, yeah, we want $800 or something to do this. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, I don't have $800.
Yeah.
So that was kind of out the window. But all the instrumentals that I was using were by this instrumental DJ called Sycamore. So he would get these instrumentals, and you hear like Sycamore.
And you just found them online, and you were just buying it?
No. I was just downloading these instrumentals,
yeah.
but I would hear that tag. So fast forward a couple of years, he was this guy. He was working at Atlantic Records. He was like the youngest A&R ever there.
Yeah.
So A&R basically is an artist repertoire. So he basically would develop talent. So
Okay.
he would take,
Like,
say
like
Sean that wants to be a rapper. He's gonna
Yeah.
find you, take you, say these clothes you're wearing are trash. We're gonna get you some new clothes.
Right.
This photographer is gonna take pictures of you. Suave's gonna edit your videos. They're gonna look crazy.
Yeah.
And basically make you look like a star.
Like almost like a manager or like a promoter? Like
Not really a manager, because you're not dealing with the day-to-day like headaches.
Okay. Yeah.
But basically building you as an artist.
Okay.
So at the time he was managing Nicki Minaj, right? So this is like, or not managing, yeah, kind of he was managing Nicki Minaj. This is like pre-Super Bass days, She wasn't blown up yet, but she was signed to Lil Wayne, I think. So every day, rewind a little bit, I was like, damn, I gotta work with this guy. Like, this is the guy. He wasn't big enough to where people were like going towards him, but I could tell, I was like, this guy's gonna be something crazy.
Yeah.
So I ended up harassing him until like I linked up with him. I was like, I want to come work with you. He had a company called The Famous Firm. It was an artist development company. Mm-hmm. And he was like, after a couple times, he's like, yeah, He saw me in Entrepreneur Magazine through the bar, because the bar had like a little article in Entrepreneur Magazine, and it had a picture of me leaning on like 5 million kegs. Yeah, it was cool. I was 21.
Which was it, the New London or Glastonbury?
New London.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty dope. Do you still have that?
Mm-hmm.
I have to check that out sometime, man. That's
yeah.
really cool.
So he saw me in there, and we kind of like hit it off. He's from Trinidad. He had a green card. I was from Ireland. I had a green card.
Right.
We kind of like were, on the same page a little bit. I started working with him. So I would drive to New York every day from New London, like a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
I would park in municipal parking on Essex Street in the Lower East Side, because it was only like $2 to park there.
Okay.
It was like a cool little hack that nobody knew about. Everybody else was paying like $80. So, every day we would use Joey IE's office up at Asylum Records or Todd Moskowitz. And we would just meet with like potential clients, potential artists.
Like people who were trying to be rappers?
People trying to be rappers, yeah. So like we were charging them for, our time, and like we would link them up with like big time, like, I don't know, videographers, photographers, people who were, in the music industry, and we were building these connects by just going out to all these spots, hitting all these, building these relationships, networking, And we worked with like, he was working with Nicki Minaj. We did True Life, who was signed to Rockefeller.
Yeah.
Saigon, signed to Rockefeller, signed to Just Blaze. Rich Hill, who was Tommy Hilfiger's son. That was like around the time I was down there a lot. So we would meet with Tommy Hilfiger a lot, which was crazy.
So didn't you do lunch with him one time?
Yeah, we met him up at the label one time.
That's
I was like,
wild.
man, we're just sitting there in a room. I remember one time Sick left the room. It was just me and him in the room. And I'm just like, damn, like, what do I say? Like, this is Tommy Hilfiger. You kind of want to be like, check out my CD.
Yeah.
Not like I had a CD, but, that type of like, but he was very cool, like very, very nice guy.
What about the time you tried to pick up lunch?
Oh yeah, you can't do that. It's
so
crazy.
Only poor
people pay. Poor people carry cash.
cash.
Yeah, something like that. That's crazy. Yeah.
I saw somebody else say that the other day on Facebook. Somebody was talking about it, and I immediately thought of your conversation with Tommy Hilfiger.
Yep. Yeah, it was nuts. But so that was like, eye-opening for me. I'm like, wow, I can come here, I can be living in New London, but I could go and do this.
Right.
So in my mind, I was like, I can do anything. If I could sit in the same room as Tommy Hilfiger, what else could I do? I could do whatever I want, you know. So,
and that's like really the mindset to have, man. You can come up on stuff if you hustle for it. You know, like so many people are in like dead end spots or like just doing nothing, man. Like, oh, I wish I could do this. I want to do that, man.
You're just go get it, man.
Dude from fucking Groton who like made it.
Exactly,
you know, like, you make these things happen, man. You know what I mean?
Even like I had an opportunity to hang out with Jay-Z, and that was crazy too. I'm like same type of thing. I'm like, man, I've been trying to work in the music industry. I worked in the music industry for it was like a year maybe, and I'm like, and I'm sitting here drinking champagne with Jay-Z. Like that's the pinnacle of like
right the most successful rapper of all
so just
time.
to be in the room, like that room is crazy, you know.
How did the link up with Jay-Z come out?
Just through networking, you know. Like I know Cassie from New London. I'm really good friends with her and her brother Rod. They were like, do you want to come to the show? So I went to the show. After the show, D-Rock, actually, who's Biggie's, the guy, I don't know if you're familiar with that story, the guy that took the gun charge for Biggie.
No.
Was D-Rock. So D-Rock used to run security, or still does, for Puff. So he came up and was like, yo, you guys want to come downstairs? We're like, yeah, go downstairs. And Jay was like in the hallway, like shadow boxing, like after the show. It's pretty crazy. And he comes over, Cass is like, hey, you know, this is my friend Jay. Kind of like he's a nobody. He's just like, hey, this is my friend Jay. Diarm, you know? Like, hey, what's up? He's like, you like the show? I'm like, you know, what are you gonna say? Like, of course, man, it's crazy. Puff was there, Fab was there, Ebro from Hot 97, Memphis Bleak, Webb. It's crazy. Like I always think when I'm in rooms like that, I'm like, I'm not gonna try to like link up with Jay-Z. He's gonna be like, but I'm looking at the guy that's in the room, the lowest guy, so he's gonna talk to me, you know.
But the one that belongs there, but he's like not getting that kind. Exactly.
So I'm like, this guy's gonna help me. So you know, Webb was Fab's manager at the time, so I was talking to him a little bit. He liked me. I saw J. Cole was there. I knew J. Cole previously from online, from like when I was saying I was like want to be a rapper. I used to go on this website called Cannabis Central. And there was like 4 or 5 of us. It was like me. He ended up being J. Cole. There was another kid, Elite, who was he ended up being a Rough Riders producer. And then there was like a couple other kids, like this kid Volatile. He produces with Young Guru, who's Jay-Z's engineer. Right now, he's pretty dope. But yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna link up with these guys. Saw J. Cole. I actually booked J. Cole for a show in New London. This is a cool story. Me and my friend Fausto. It was we paid $1,000, I think. We split it, $500.
He was in the club, the bar the other night.
Yeah. Shouts to Fausto.
Good dude, man.
Yeah. So yeah, we booked J. Cole, $500 each. You know, and we couldn't sell the tickets. People were like, "Who the fuck is J. Cole?" And he signed to Rock Nation at this time.
Were you gonna do it at Hanafin's or?
No, I needed a bigger capacity because I thought in my mind I should have done it there, but I thought in my mind I was like, "Man, this is gonna sell out." Jay-Z just signed this guy; he's gonna blow up, you know. So I booked the LNG. It used to be the LNG, not the LNG anymore, because you know the capacity there, I could fit probably 600 people in there. So I was thinking, it's a come up. I'm gonna pay $1,000. I'm gonna sell the show out easy. And but then I had to cancel because I couldn't sell like 10 tickets.
That's wild, man. I mean, people in New London don't show.
Sleep. They sleep.
Well, even like Suave. You know, when I talked to Apathy, and he and like we went to go see him in Pawtucket. Pawcatuck. I always mix it up.
Yeah, me too. One of the two.
Whatever the one in Rhode Island is, Pawcatuck. Right. So like, and over the years I've talked to him, he's like, dude, I can't do a show in New London. People just don't show out, which is stupid. You go, he's doing his tours in, Canada, all over the place, and people, I see the video, people come out, even, there's probably 200-300 people at the show in Rhode Island we went to in this little dive bar. I went to go see him years ago, probably 10 years ago, this club called Jerky's in Providence. Man, he did the show and it was packed, but you can't do a show. Like, he did a thing for, what was it, Sail Festival? He did something on the pier one day. We did like 3 or 4 songs. There was like nobody there. Like, how is that a thing? But people, it seems like people
out here are kind of late, man. They're not really ahead of the curve. So when something pops like in the city, you can give it like 6 months to a year before it pops out here.
Right, but they're not jumping on it early.
So that's like back to like when I was working with Sycamore, how I started in the music industry. We used to take artists we were working with in New York, and I would bring them out here to perform in New London. To see like the reaction they would get from the crowds out here, So I had like Rich Hill performed out here. I had this other kid from Canada that we were working with, Colin Monroe. He came out and performed out here, and he was like, he recorded like 6 or 7 songs with Drake before Drake
Drake was big, yeah.
He kind of like, I don't know if he ever did anything with them. I know they're out there like on YouTube, but he was kind of like very ahead of the curve. Like that was like investing in Apple before Apple blew up, you know? So, but yeah, you know, we would bring him out here, let him perform, and then see how the crowd reacted. And then from there, we started this thing, Sycamore, called the Famous Factory in Brooklyn and Williamsburg, where we would take like the hottest up and coming artists in hip hop and have them perform for an all ages show. And the idea behind it was that we would take like kind of like a really like uptown like urban artist like Vado, and we would pair him with like an artist like Diggy Simmons. So we would get like the under like, you know, it would be an all ages show. So we'd get the young kids coming out. We get like the uptown crowd come down. We would get like, you know, it'd be a really mixed crowd where everybody would network. And it worked out really, really well. You know, we had, it was actually Nipsey Hussle's first show in New York. We did Dom Kennedy, Diggy Simmons, Vado, Sean Price, like all these big artists, all these cool artists.
Really?
You know? Yeah. But, you know, and actually Double XL partnered with us on that.
We're just seeing like what would stick more, like if would the Vado hit with the young kids, with the Diggy Simmons hit with the older, like with the hood crowd, or whatever, to see what hits where and what you can open people up to.
For sure, and that also we were building like kind of like a scoreboard of up and coming artists, and we would look and see, all right, well this artist is a great artist, but he doesn't really have a lot of work ethic. Yeah. So he's not gonna work out, right? So get him off, get him out of here. Then we see an artist be like, all right, well he's not as good, but he's decent, but his work ethic is crazy. Right. So he's gonna be, you know, he's gonna make it. That's the difference between like artists that are great, but they don't have the work ethic, and artists that are maybe not so good, but they have a crazy work ethic.
What do they say?
That's why you end up on the radio with a guy that's like, how'd this guy get on the radio? Like, no, this guy like pounded the pavement.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah, exactly, man.
That's a real thing, man.
Really,
you know,
in any field.
I find it super interesting, the music business, because like you said, like so many times you hear something on the radio and it's like, how is this on the radio? Or then you'll know of an artist who's like so nasty, and like, how are they not on the radio? Exactly, you know what I mean? So it's interesting, you know, to see
timing
the back end
and just putting yourself in the right position and meeting the right people. Networking is huge in anything, you know, any aspect. You got to build a great network if you want to build your brand, you know.
Now you're still doing a little bit in the music with
I had a
Miami with Troy Ave last year.
This was last year. We did an East Coast tour. We did up and down the East Coast, Virginia, Miami. We did South Beach during Memorial Day weekend. That was crazy. Never going there again. That was nuts. But yeah, you know, moving around. I just had a baby a year ago, so I kind of chilled out for a little while. But now I'm kind of bouncing back. I'm coming back
to life.
Yeah, man. You know,
that's dope though.
Gonna get back into a little bit more. You see me out, you know.
Well, I mean,
around.
You've always had the hooks, like so, like. I was at Hanafin's when you had the kid Dave East, who I had never heard of, but now he's like a big name. You know my boy Kyle. It's actually his favorite rapper right now.
Oh yeah, like, that's crazy. Yeah, Dave East. Yeah, we did a lot of people. We brought Stolly. We did Dame Dash actually. He had a thing called DD 172. Yeah. Dame Dash from Rockefeller. Yeah. Blue Rock. So I was actually trying to book this girl singer that he had signed, and I reached out to her and she was like, "Yeah, I'll come out there." And she came out, but she brought everybody with her. I was like, this is crazy, you know? Because I only paid for her to come out, you know? Yeah. But she brought everybody. She brought Stolly. She brought like a bunch of other people. Dame Dash. She brought Ski Beats. Ski Beats produced Reasonable Doubt for Jay-Z.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he performed like the whole album basically that night. But you know, it's New London. Yeah. It was, I forget what, I was like, damn, this is, because I'm like a huge Jay-Z fan. I was like, this is crazy. Like, just seeing him anywhere, let alone at there, you know? But you know, a couple people were like, "Wow, this is crazy." But for the most part, people like didn't really get it. You know, they were like, "What is this? Like, who's this guy?" But it was pretty dope. That and like, I think like the next best thing from that there was like Obama. Obama came to New London.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude,
that was crazy.
Legendary, man.
That was like you can't pay for that kind of.
Right. Yeah. So
kind of shout out.
He was doing the the Coast Guard graduation?
Yeah, he was doing a commencement speech.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the cadets. He's like, "You guys been hanging out at Hanafin?"
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's you have to keep that clip forever, man. That's like how you get the president of the United States, especially one who's like so.
I mean, that's
so
branding
loved,
101,
dude.
You know?
Like, that's wild.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
No, you can use that forever, man.
Put that on a resume.
What were some of the hard parts about dealing with New London? So when I see New London, I see a city that has all the potential in the world. It's on the water. It's easy to get to off the highway, and yet, dude, empty building, failure. Empty building, failure. I mean, I don't know if it's just too saturated because there's 700 bars in New London, or what.
I mean, like I said, I feel like New London never really bounced back after that. Like when the economy tanked in like 2008, 2009. But you know, you got a small city with big city problems, right? So you got big, like almost like a drug epidemic, I would say there.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
A lot of like heroin's like running crazy through there. A lot of homeless people. So that drives away people that want to come down.
Right.
And I mean, like, you know, people at some point you get scared going through there if you don't know, if you're not familiar with it.
Well, even, dude,
like we'll go out down there and feel fine.
Even my liquor companies I deal with, they won't send female reps into.
Yeah, exactly. So
to
you know, it gets
stuff.
like a bad rap almost, and you know, the papers don't really help that they highlight the bad things. They don't highlight the good things. I mean, the good things that like people are doing.
Dude, and I have such an issue with the New London Day, and I have the paid digital subscriber, and it's like they want to be a tab, like certain reporters, they want to be like a tabloid.
Well, you know, it's all about getting clicks, and you know, everybody wants to read the bad news, not the good news.
I know, it's unfortunate. It's tough, it's unfortunate, but that's how you know, media's kind of become, is where a lot of these media outlets have kind of hacked the algorithm of what people want to see, and people do click, but and myself included, you know, and I'm saying here that it sucks, but like when I'm scrolling through the New London Day,
you want to read the crazy things.
If I see, you know, fifth grader fucking develops a new app, or 3 people stabbed, I'm like, oh shit, who got stabbed? But I mean, you know, if you just don't feed that stuff, maybe it's not there to be read. But
yeah, definitely that. I mean,
but it does hurt businesses, man.
The oversaturation of businesses, the wrong kind of businesses. But what businesses are going to make it down there, you know? You're not going to do retail.
Right.
You know, brick and mortar retail is not going to make it down there. You know, it's got to be bar, restaurant. Yeah. But I mean, even then, you know, it's like,
I think they need something. They need like one big thing that draws people.
You need like a sports team.
Right,
you know?
right. Like even just like a minor league.
Yeah.
It's like Norwich messed up with that. Norwich has, it was Norwich Navigators when I was a kid. I forget what it's called now. But that stadium is like in this industrial park in Norwich. It was supposed to be downtown by the marina, and the people voted against it. Where that could have changed everything. You just bring something. If you bring something that's going to bring 2,000 or 3,000 people into the city on a Friday night, dude, the ripple effect, the butterfly effect on that is crazy.
Well, that was our kind of like our business model when we were down there. We would like create events, and you do the same thing at Ribs. You know, I see it all the time, to bring people out. So we would say, all right, well, summer's slow.
Right.
We got to do something for summer. We need a big event in summer. So we'll do a show, like a big show in the summertime, where the Guard might have a show that we could feed off of.
Right.
You know, spring is tough. You know, you got St. Patrick's Day, but after that, all right, what else? So then we're like, boom, let's create the St. Patrick's Day parade. To bring a ton of people in that are going to spend money and invest in all these bars.
Right, so people watching, you guys came up with that, right?
Yeah, we started that, Just to basically bring, we wanted like to bring a flood of people down there. So we reached out to like all the unions, carpenters union, laborers union, you know, nurses, all that. People who were like active in the community that had disposable income that were going to come down there and spend money.
Large groups.
Exactly. Yeah. And they were going to bring 20, 30 people at a time to come in, not only to us, but to everywhere, you know, to Rise, wherever. And that's basically how that started. It started very small, you know, started with like a group of like 20 people the first year. And then it grew and grew and grew and grew until we kind of like, you know, when we backed out of it, it kind of got too political, you know. They kind of took it. Politics kind of ruins stuff like that.
Right, and it tends to. But I mean, those St. Patrick's Days at Hanafin's were some of the most crazy fun times. I mean,
we used to shut the street down.
I can't believe you put that many people into a building like that.
Yeah, we used to shut the street down, man.
Awesome,
crazy,
man. But so any of you guys who go to that New London St. Patrick's Day parade, just know that it came from Diarm and his family just coming up with this idea to try to do something for New London. Try to. It's a city that needs people who think like that.
Exactly.
And
so if you had 10 or 15 places like that downtown that we're gonna like bring that level of you know, like if you have a Mexican spot, like you should have like a crazy you know, Mexican Independence Day.
Do a single mile parade, man. Like if you think bigger than yourself, it'll come back.
Right.
So Frank, who owns the property at Sunset Ribs, is now, you know, my partner. He's made me a partner there. He's trying to do this thing in New London. It looks like it's gonna come about, but it's gonna be
on the water.
On the water, like actually on the pier behind Bank Street, and kind of like a little think Captain Scott's, but with a tiki bar and music.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's what they're looking to do is bring boaters, people who are in Greenport, in New York, and Long Island, and
for
Newport,
a couple drinks, some
and
food.
People who come in. It's not looking to take away from the city; it's looking to add.
Yeah.
And I was helping. He's like, "Hey, Sean, you're a New London guy. Can you help me?" I'm like, "Yeah." So, I go down and I talk to certain business owners who I'm friends with, and they're like, "Oh, I can't really help you with that because our neighbors think that they see what you do at Sunset Ribs and that you're gonna mess with the business." And I'm like, "Dude, that's such small mind thing. We're trying to bring people
down
into
there.
the city, and people are gonna any other place you go to. If you look at Mystic, Newport, Block Island." The water, you start from the water and then you go out. And you build out.
For sure.
London's like nothing on the water.
It's wasted.
And then and if the other businesses are going to be so small-minded to really try to fight anything that's going to go on the water, you're never going to help yourself, man. Like, why? I don't even know why are all these businesses on Bank Street? Why have they never tried this themselves before? You want to get mad at us?
That's the number one question.
Right? Why? It's been there,
Yeah.
But that's just the problem with the city
and
politics.
Politics as usual.
I obviously won't say any names, but someone who I know who has a prominent spot down there, who I consider a friend, and his daughters to be our friends, and they're like, we just can't. We back you on this, but we can't publicly back you on this. They're like, because this one and that one are upset. So I went into. You know what, dude? I'll even talk about this, dude. So I went in. I heard that the what's her name that owns the ice cream shop was like one of the most prominent people in New London. And I go in there to talk to her. And I'm like, hey, I was hoping that maybe we can do something. We're not looking to take away from your business, but maybe we can buy ice cream wholesale from you, and we'll advertise frozen drinks courtesy of your ice cream shop. And I was thinking, even right now, if you can prepackage. Some kind of ice cream sandwich or something, I'll sell it at Sunsets, and let's
build it up.
Let's do this, And she's like, I don't have time to deal with you. It's Sailfest coming up. I said, all right, you know what I mean? And it's just a small town mentality where it's a letdown where you could do stuff. You know what I mean? Like, all right, cool. So we'll just do ice cream on the pier then. You know what I mean? We'll do our own ice cream. But I was trying to do something with you.
Yeah, that's sticky.
Right,
that's tough.
Which leads me into now Groton, Connecticut, man, home of 40 Thieves.
Yeah, 40 Thieves. So basically what we're doing is we're taking the, the warm hospitality you would feel in like an Irish pub, maybe like at Hanafin's.
Yeah.
And we're merging it with like modern like pop culture and, great drinks.
Yeah.
Cutting edge stuff that nobody's really doing around here, I don't want to like give too much stuff away,
right.
But, we're very, very close to opening. The branding is going to be crazy. We're going to have Swab do some videos.
Yeah.
I got planned out already.
Yeah. I've heard what he's got going on for these videos, which obviously we're not going to give out because not even worried about people stealing. I want you to be surprised when you see it. But,
they're very cool. A lot of
this is going
ideas.
to be a destination location. It's located right off the highway.
Yeah, literally.
Easy on, easy off.
Yeah.
Which I know a lot of people, like when they come to see me, you have to deal with so many back roads and they're worried about, I've had a few drinks and I'm good to drive, but I don't want to get jammed up.
That's right. Yeah.
On the highway, off the highway.
Right. Super easy.
Easy to get to.
Right over the bridge.
Whether you're coming from Providence, New Haven, you're going to come off. It's right in, a lot of you guys will know where Norm's Diner is. It's right in that.
Right next door.
It's right next door. So where does the name 40 Thieves come from?
So 40 Thieves was the first Irish gang in New York, right?
Okay.
So a lot of people know like Gangs of New York, the movie, right?
Right.
So yeah, 40 Thieves were like the original, Hell's Kitchen, 5 Points. So that's kind of where the name comes from for that. But
yeah, really killer logo. I know I've seen it up painted on the mirror now, but you got it online. It's at 40 Thieves on Instagram. But the logo
it was actually a kid from Northern Ireland that designed it originally, and then I gave it to Cam Bortz, who's a sign guy out of Pawcatuck or Pawtucket.
Here we go. One of the two. Yeah.
So I think Pawcatuck, but he's an incredible he does everything by hand, right?
Yeah.
So freehand, and it looks like font.
Did he do your sign at Hanafin's too, or no?
Yeah, he did a lot of work. All of the three locations, the big mirrors, all the signs, every sign, all the writings, everything.
Right.
He does a lot of gold leaf, where he'll take actual gold and it's like I've never seen anybody do it.
Right.
Because I thought about it, I'm like, wow, because he charges accordingly to what he does, his worth, and he's well worth it.
Yeah. Well,
I'm looking like, man, maybe I could like,
like
nah.
But and I think that's what's people are gonna walk into this place and they're gonna see.
It's very different, very unique.
There's nothing in this area. Like, this is really, truly a destination location. It's not just another bar. It's not just another
a lot of
pub.
like vintage stuff that was outsourced from like, we got like the lights that hang over the bar came out of Boston, a bar in New York.
Yeah.
The tin ceiling over the bar came out of a place in Boston.
Yeah.
Floors came out of Charleston, Rhode Island.
Right.
Everything was like
so you have
kind
some
of like
door
sourced.
that your dad told me was like 150 years old from some
Yeah,
other
I
bar.
don't know where he got that from. He found it somewhere.
But
It's got like a doorbell on it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that's to the little side room.
Yeah, so we got like a secret little bar in there behind a bookshelf. It's kind of crazy.
Right.
It's like cool little things,
Can be a lot of, events can be held there.
So the goal there is like, I want to make everything almost like, I don't know if this is even a word, but make it almost Instagrammable, So like when you walk into a place, you're like, wow, that's crazy. Everything from the drink that you're drinking to like the chair maybe that you're sitting in to the spot you're sitting at to what you're looking at. You want to take a picture of everything.
And that's what I've seen in there, man.
It's free advertising. It's people, doing promo for your spot without you even doing anything,
Right, and that's the thing. When you can develop that kind of thing, for businesses out there who are listening, it's not just you, it's also the customer. So the customer now has a great picture for their Instagram that's going to get a bunch of likes, but then it's going to link back to you. It's good. It's not just, they're not just advertising for you. You're helping them, Instagram, social media has kind of made, now everybody's kind of some level of celebrity, whether high or low.
It's like Andy Warhol, right? So everybody gets their 15 minutes.
Right. And you're helping people get their 15 because of their content, but your content is their content and their content is your content. And when you have what you have for a layout, it's incredible, man. And just you have
attention to detail.
Sliding library door with all these. You have a whole bookshelf, but it's not just like you went to a freaking
bookstore, man. I looked hard for those books too.
Yeah.
We had a lot of them from leftover, but it was a book. I think it's like 12 by 14, and we had to fill this bookshelf. Yeah. And we didn't want to just fill them with like fucking Goosebumps books.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You didn't go to BAM up in Waterfront.
No. They're all like old, like vintage, like
first
leather-bound
edition.
books.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff,
The vibe that I know that you, knowing you, and knowing
we actually just, sorry to cut you off. We just got the Rod at Hot Rods is doing a renovation, right?
Yeah.
So he gave us the belt-driven fans that he had in there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna throw those up. It's gonna kind of add to the thing.
Right.
So shout outs to Rod for that.
Yeah. No,
cool guy.
And when it comes to Rods, right? Whenever anybody's trying to do something in New London, people ask me, "Hey, I think I'm gonna do this." I'm like, is Rod doing it? If he's not doing it, don't
he's a smart guy. Yeah,
don't do
Great
it.
Business guy.
That's he's made the best of a bad situation, and is the best way I can put it. And I'll say Rod's the best. I mean New London. You know what I mean? Like,
he kills it.
He has maximized
for sure
what you can do. So if you're like thinking of opening something in New London, ask yourself, hey, is Rod doing that? If he's not doing it, it's not going to work, man. He has really been a staple of the community. Talk about marketing, all the best wings in Connecticut, and they're great. But you just say that enough times, like Lil Wayne said, I'm the best.
To believe it.
I'm the best rapper alive. And
his wings are really good.
Yeah, they're great, but they're wings. You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
But you start saying things enough. It's just marketing, and I don't mean that as a slight to the wings. I mean that as a big up to the marketing. If you just say something enough times,
exactly,
it becomes
embedded in there.
Perception is reality. Sure. You know what I mean? So people come in, I want to get wings. Oh, where am I go? Rods. They have the best wings in Connecticut. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yep, and I know he's actually won that. So like I said, I'm not actually trying to slight the wings as much as I'm trying to big up the marketing. You just say, keep saying it's tremendous, man. It's absolutely.
Who's gonna say they're not?
Right. It's great.
Yeah.
So but knowing you and your family, I know that the vibe in this new place is going to be
it's very
killer,
cool, man. It's almost like our like magnum opus. Like
it is through everything that you've been through. This is the production of this.
For sure,
this is
it's different. It's very different than like the New London spots, but even the glass is way different.
Right, but it's going to be different.
But it's its own like
any spot. Though. It's really
the
look at like you got like Gucci wallpaper up. You know what I mean? Like. Everything you see in this place, the look of it is there's nothing in this area like it. It's like a big city feel without having to go to the city. It's going to be a lot. What entertainment wise, what are you thinking?
Do you know I don't like limiting anything, but it's definitely going to be a lot of cool stuff. Right. People that stuff that people aren't doing.
Right.
I don't want to do the same thing that everybody else is doing.
Right.
I never have, so definitely going to like be ahead of the curve on that and go left with it. We're gonna do stuff that's great and sounds good. But,
doing a lot of food, a little food. What are you doing food?
A little bit.
I think
small menu.
Yeah, right.
Small and consistent. And
right,
good,
and that's the best thing you can do. You start small. If you do a few things and you do them great, as opposed to having this huge menu. You know, just
like 10-page menu.
Right. Especially if you get just like one thing, like the wings or whatever, that people like really come. We're gonna go to 40 Thieves for.
So we used to do drunken buffalo wings with Jameson, but we might switch. We'll talk to Brian Axelrod. We might do proper 12 wings.
Yeah, proper 12.
Do an order of proper wings.
Proper wings.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Axe, where you at, man?
Yeah, you got to come check us out.
Yeah. Let me refill you over here. When are you looking at timeline wise on this?
Man,
we're really weeks out.
Weeks, maybe month. I mean, very close. It's all like we're down to like the kind of like the legalities of it, whereas paperwork at this point almost.
I mean, I'm excited for this place. Like I'm a part of it. You know what I mean? I'm just so excited. I'm not, but I'm just so excited because I know that when I'm not at work, this is where you're gonna find me. It's like having dinner there, having lunch there, hanging out for a pint afterwards.
That's right.
I've seen like the kind of the model that you're going after. If you go to a place, the Dead Rabbit in New York, which is rated
a lot of like spots. That's what we kind of like looked at, like
right, and
like
it's not
it's
not a copy of it, but it's an inspiration,
right, like that, and like Death & Co. is another cool spot in New York where like there's always like a 3-hour wait to get in there.
Oh, really?
Like, you can't just go in and grab a drink. Yeah, that like employees only. I don't know if you ever heard of these places.
No.
Really like cool, like almost like not speakeasies because they're not like that type of like look, but they carry that vibe where the drinks are like crazy. You almost have to know about it to go there.
Right.
So that's kind of the vibe we're going for, like almost like you know where you're going. You're not just walking by.
It's not going to be like just a traditional knockoff Irish pub.
No. We're actually
we're
staying
going
away
there for
from
corned beef and cabbage and no, because what people generally think of, I think, are almost Americanized Irish pubs.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we want to break away from that like stereotype almost of like or even just the term Irish pub. It's very limiting. It's very, So what we want to do is, like I said, we want to take that feel and that vibe and then bring it over and create our own brand, which is the 40 Thieves brand. Right. And we'll take that on the road after this one. This is kind of like our floor model,
I expect to be notified when there's an investor opportunity for the second location.
Right. You already know. So we're trying to hit the road running.
Right. You're coming with the I don't mean to speak for you, but like what I see is you're coming with what is stereotypically the hospitality and environment of an Irish pub without the traditional Lucky Charms box on the wall and shit.
You're not gonna. There's no like covered in shamrocks and
right because we gotta be.
No, I'm just kidding. So, but I basically wanted to create a place where we would go to drink, and we would be like, wow, look at that, that's cool, or like even people who are like in the industry, like bartenders or servers or owners of bars that would go. You want to get away from Sunsets. You want to go. Hey, I want to go have a drink.
Right.
You're gonna go there. So that's basically the business model behind that. That's where our mindset
is it at 40 with a number or word?
At 40 Thieves CT.
Okay,
on Instagram. Yeah.
And he's starting to put, even though it's not open yet, there's stuff up there. Hop on there and check it out, man.
Getting there slowly, like building it up. It's the social media.
Once you see like the promo videos that that he's gonna bounce off Suave, you guys walk out.
Crazy.
I mean, this is gonna be the kind of place that you're gonna want to be seen at, where people are. There's nothing like it in this area. Not even I don't have something like that, and I have a place that's wildly successful, but it's not. This is going to be a very, very different place. It's going to be a place that you're going to want to be seen at.
That's right. So I don't know if you remember this too. I have to rewind a little bit. We did in New London when we opened our New London spot. We were the first ones to do. We had these tables, right, where you could pour your own beer from the table, and nobody was doing that in the U.S. really, right? So we had a table. You could go. You would swipe your card behind the bar. The bartender would set the amount that you could pour from the thing. So you'd be sitting at a table like this with your own taps at the table.
Oh, shit.
So we had a pretty good run with it, and then the liquor commission was like, hey, what are you guys doing over there?
Really? No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. They were like, you can't do that. Like, that's not legal. But the company we had bought them from had sold them to us on the premise that they had cleared it through the liquor commission.
That's something I would look into again, because I know a lot of places like big corporate places are even getting rid of bartenders, and it's almost kind of like that new casino in Massachusetts, they don't have bartenders. For a beer, you swipe your thing and you pour
for
it.
real?
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
like they're trying to
but
almost
I mean,
like Walmart self-checkout bartenders. And I'm not saying you want to do that because I think it's a terrible idea because you want to experience the service.
I think the bartender,
but if you do something like that, that's something you could I would look into that again, man.
I think the bartender though is very important.
Hugely important.
From a
right. I would never
in that point of sales type of, you go into a bar. And if it's a good bartender, they'll, build almost a rapport with them.
It's worth whatever money you're paying them. It's not, to me, it's not Walmart where you want to automatize a checkout.
A service,
you want,
for sure.
You got a bad day, you talk to your bartender, or, some people want to see a pretty girl behind the bar. Whatever it is, there's things that you sacrifice for the convenience of just swiping your card. So what about the lockers that you got going on over there?
Yeah, so basically the idea was to... like I said, trying to stay ahead of the curve and being innovative and doing different things.
Yeah.
I wanted to take the idea of VIP service, like in a nightclub,
service.
Bottle service, but bring it on a smaller scale to a bar, where you're sitting at the bar. So we built these lockers behind the bar, right behind the bar. You buy a locker, comes with a lock and a key. You get the key, the lock stays back there. You buy a bottle, say a bottle of Proper 12. You're like, boom, you come in, have your bottle of Proper 12. You have 2 drinks maybe. Then you put your bottle back, give it back to the bartender. Bartender puts it back in the locker, lock it up. Next time you come in, boom, you got your bottle right there waiting for you with your name on the locker.
Right, I'm locker.
It's almost like a VIP service at that level.
Right, and you kind of becomes like a home. You know what I mean? It becomes,
and it incentivizes
like you bring
people
in.
Like,
oh, I got a bottle in my locker.
Where are you gonna go? You're not gonna go to Applebee's.
Right,
you're gonna come over here and drink your bottle.
Right. And you've got 2 bars. So you've got the main bar room.
Yeah, main bar is 35 feet long. It's a pretty big bar.
Yeah.
Then we got the secret bar through the bookshelf. It's 18 feet.
You're going to have to know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, you got to have a double knock with a cool look to get in
there. For sure.
Yeah.
And so by the end of June or by early July? Or?
Yeah, definitely, man. Very, like that time frame.
Awesome,
definitely be up and running.
Cool, man. Dude, I know that I personally can't wait, man.
Yes.
Like, aside from anything else, I'm so excited for this spot, man.
Yeah, man. Cheers to that.
Cheers, man. All right. Check out 40 Thieves, Connecticut, man. Check out Diarm at Diarm.
Yep,
on
Instagram.
On Instagram.
Got one of those first Instagrams.
It's so hard to, when I introduce you to people, it's my boy Diarm. What's his name? Darren? Like,
yeah, a lot of people just say D.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
For sure. Listen, I had a hard enough time in my life with Sean being Sean, Seon. Like, you can't imagine what you've gone through.
Nightmares.
Yeah. But check out Diarm.
That's right.
On Instagram, 40 Thieves, Connecticut, and stay tuned, man, because this is going to be a really, really cool spot. And I hope that if you watch this, man, and if you're somebody who is young and you're hungry and you want to do something, you don't want to work at Foot Locker or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Dude, go out there, go get it.
Go
man.
get it.
Dude, you got a college degree?
No.
Me either, man. Me either. And you're doing your thing, so
yeah,
it's out there, man. It's been out there to hustle, man. Go get your own education, go get your own experience, and like I said, fail a few times. I failed. The green room was a failure, man. You gotta take your punches on the way up, and then you're gonna come up, man.
Yeah.
Cheers. See you next time.